Hi, my name is Tim and I'm forgiven. We need education about taxes and where tax money comes from. It doesn't matter if the money comes from you or if it comes from Joe Blow or if it comes from whoever. Money is collected from transactions. Transactions are the purchase and sale of goods or services. If there's no purchase of goods or services, there's no transaction, there's no taxes. If there is a purchase, no matter how great or how small, there are taxes involved in that purchase. Now, your state may not charge sales tax on groceries. So when you go in and buy the grocery item that's marked $1, you pay $1 for it. When you go down to the soda convenience store and you buy a soda for $1, it costs you $1.07. So you think that you paid 7 cents tax on the soda and paid no tax on your gallon of water that you paid $1 for. And the sad truth is both items had tax on it. One just had state and local tax on it, where the other one didn't have state and local tax directly. Didn't have federal tax directly. But I've heard someone talking, and this floored me. A medallion. New York City, they use medallions they put on a taxi cab. If you don't have a medallion, you're not legally allowed to be a taxi in New York City. Now that medallion, this was a story 8/7 of '09, said the corporate medallion reached $766,000. Now I said a dirty word, I said corporate. Individual medallion was $572,000. It is one single medallion attached to the front of the taxi cab, cost $572,000. Now, one simple question. Where does the taxi operator collect that $572,000 to run that taxi? Does he just say, I'm going to take $572,000 of my money, buy a medallion, and I don't care if I ever see it again? This is what our politicians want you to believe, that this money has nothing to do with the price of a ride in a taxi cab. And I'm sorry to have to inform you that $572,000 from that individual medallion is collected every time someone rides in the taxi cab. Every time. Now, that's not the only tax you pay, you see, because the taxi cab driver is going to buy gas, and that's going to be taxed. The taxi driver bought the vehicle, which was taxed. He has to buy the tires, which are taxed. He has to have all the necessary equipment to run that taxi cab. Phone, maybe a GPS, whatever he's got. All that, when he buys it, it's taxed. And it's all a cost of doing business. Now, he figures out he's got to spend X amount of dollars every 12 months. And he figures out how long he's going to be on the road for those 12 months. And then he figures out how much money he has to collect over those 12 months per day. And then it finally comes down to per ride in the taxi cab. So per ride in a taxi cab, he has to collect so much money just to break even. And he's even. He's breaking himself. But you know who comes out smelling like a rose every single time? the man with absolutely no investment in his failure or success. That is the government, the governing agent over those New York City taxi cabs. It comes out smelling like a rose, because whether you get a ride, whether you get somebody to carry in your taxi cab or not, he's going to collect the taxes. He does no work. He has no... And they're going to cream me for this. Well, no one will pay any attention to it anyway, but they would cream me for saying this stuff. But there's a certain amount of responsibility that they have, and a lot of it has to do with collecting the money. But what you got to realize is that's a tremendous, extremely large amount of money to do. I mean, I'm sorry, there is no justification for that. I asked my wife what she thought the medallion, she came from New York City. I asked her what she thought the medallion cost. Her first figure was $10,000 because I made it sound like it was high. She came out with a $10,000 figure, and I thought that was pretty high, because I was blown away when I found out what it really was. But I told her, no, it's more. And she went to $30,000. And I said, no, it's more. And she says, oh, good. And I told her $600,000, and she said, no, I can't be. And she thinks I'm an idiot, and I'm going to have to prove it to her. And I looked it up. It's in the newspapers. Find the right spot. It costs $600,000, and the taxi cab riders are paying it. This is a bizarre case. But it's not abnormal. But it's bizarre that I could show it to you in this way, because normal, everyday people ride in taxis in New York City. The stars and the businessmen drive in the limousines and have their own cars. We ride in taxis. And every time I go to New York City and I ride in a taxi, a portion of my fare goes towards that medallion. They're breaking my back. They're breaking your back. And if you're not rich, they're taking it to the poor man. This is how it all works. This is a beautiful example of how it all works. You say, look at that rotten taxi driver charged me $50 to go around the block. How in the world can he make a living paying $600,000 for a medallion? That is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life. They make a living, but it comes out of the pockets of ordinary, everyday people who ride the taxi in New York. This is what everybody has to understand, and everybody needs to talk about it till everybody is informed. Taxes are a part of doing business, and when you do business, the taxes are part of the price. You are paying the price. When you do business, you are paying the taxes. And you thought the rich guy was paying the taxes. Man, the government just pulled the blinders over you, and you just went wherever they took you. And boy, did they take you. They took us. They've been taking us. It's time to take the blinders off and take the reins. Because we're not the horse. The government's the horse. We're the rider. And we tell the horse where to go and what to do. We're in charge. It's an honor to be a horse. But it's a responsibility to be a rider too. That analogy was, I know what I meant. Everybody get on your horses and take off your blinders. God bless you.